is it so dark? Probably would have been a good idea to have like one light on.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my brand new Shazam 2 teaser video. The director, David Sandberg, released this first look at the movie, obviously to show off Shazam's brand new upgraded costume. They'll all have costumes like this, so I'll explain what's going on with the movie, what's going on with the new villains that they've announced. They've already announced most of the characters, and they've already talked about how they're going to be crossing him over with Black Adam in future movies as well. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's actually a lot of big DC movie stuff happening right now. We actually just got our first look at Michael Keaton's Batman in the Flash movie. Don't worry, I'll be talking about that in a separate video just because there's so much stuff going on with Batman in the next couple of years between all the different Batman movies. As far as I know, there's no Batman anywhere inside Shazam 2 though. One of the few places that does not feature a Batman movie, even though there will probably be Batman references, just like there were Batman references in the first film. I'll talk about the footage first, then I'll talk about what's going on with the actual movie. But if you couldn't tell, the scene is an actual scene from the movie that he basically just filmed because they just started filming the movie and then just posted it online. Even though he's joking about it being too dark, probably should have brought a light. A lot of you probably noticed that the room that he's standing in is the same dining room of the foster home where the Shazamly lives. It's the same dining room where they all sat around the table in the first film and held hands and chanted their little mantra about being a family. That was meant to foreshadow the big twist where Billy eventually shares his powers of Shazam with all of them. But as you can tell, the way they pan around the costume, they added way more ornate designs and etchings to all the metal pieces. They actually do look like real metal now. The director talked about when they were creating the first version of the costume for the original Shazam movie, they went through all kinds of different designs and just practically had a bunch of issues with trying to film in it, all kinds of weird problems. So it took them a while to find a costume that was easy to film in, that wouldn't fall apart. It just sounds like they've used the time since making that first film to make a costume that's easier for them to film in practically, but also that incorporates much more ornate designs. Like, it looks way more hardcore. You can see way more definition in the musculature. It doesn't look quite as cartoonish as the last suit. And even though it doesn't look like it in some of these behind the scenes pics, he is wearing the cape here. They're just using visual effects to do the cape in some of these action scenes. Just in general, the suit itself looks like it's much more ancient. Like, the original suit from the first film looked more modernized and simplistic in its design, like I said, kind of cartoonish, but I think that's because they were playing it pretty safe with the way they made the suit. They wanted it to look closer to the New 52 designs, and this time around in the sequel, they're going with more of a classic look. But here's the thing, you may have also recently seen The Rock teasing his Black Adam suit because he's been posting behind the scenes pictures from the Black Adam movie. They have been filming it. We haven't got a full costume reveal from him yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of these changes in the new Shazam suits for Shazam 2 were meant to make them look a little more similar to the Black Adam suit. In the comics, for the most part, all of their suits are the same, Black Adam and the Shazam family members. Really, when you see the suits change design, it's just because a new artist comes onto the comic book and they want to make the characters look just a little bit different. The only real big differences in some of the versions of the suits are the female suits because they have skirts. But otherwise, Black Adam's suit is meant to look very similar, if not the exact same, as Shazam's suit. But through their powers, they are able to give themselves different variations of suits. Like, he could change the suit if he wanted to, if he learned more about his magical powers. The other thing you probably detected in that was the veiled Justice League joke, Justice League Snyder Cut. So he's joking about it being too dark in the house there, in the Shazamly's house, because of the comedic tone of the Shazam character just in general. And in the scene that they're filming here, the family has the lights in the house turned down for some reason. Like, maybe they're trying to surprise him or something, or they're getting ready for a big action scene, or something funny's about to happen. But the comment about the darkness is also meant to be a reference to the ending of the Justice League Snyder Cut, like the joke that Ryan Reynolds made in Deadpool 2 about the DC universe being so dark. We all just got done watching the Justice League Snyder Cut just a little while ago, and it was by far the most hardcore DC movie, next to Watchmen, coincidentally also a Zack Snyder movie. I did a ton of Justice League Snyder Cut videos all about the Easter eggs in the ending scenes, and a full breakdown of what was going to happen in the sequels, Justice League 2 and Justice League 3, had Zack Snyder been allowed to make those. He posted all the storyboards, which were hand-drawn on these giant wall-sides boards by Jim Lee himself. They look badass. I'll add a link for that video for the Justice League sequels in the description below, because the plot of the sequels was mind-blowing. It was crazy how big it was going to get. But in terms of the way that movie ends with a nightmare scene and how it affects the timeline of other DC movies like Shazam 2, the Flash movie, because you very literally have Ezra Miller coming off of the Justice League Snyder Cut into the Flash movie, in all of the other upcoming DC movies, for the most part, the way Zack Snyder talks about it explains it. He says that both he and the studio consider the Justice League Snyder Cut to be part of a separate continuity, like separate timeline, that they're just referring to as the Snyderverse of movies. All the movies that Zack Snyder made, like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and the Justice League movie, or the Justice League Snyder Cut. So the ending of the Snyder Cut isn't supposed to have any real bearing on the plot of these upcoming movies, like the nightmare scene, all the implied time travel. So even though Ben Affleck's Batman and Ezra Miller's Flash are coming back for the Flash movie, don't expect them to be talking like they just came out of this huge time travel plot with him just having spoken to Martian Manhunter in the post-credits scene. All that stuff was brand new stuff that Zack Snyder added to the Justice League Snyder Cut. Like originally that was meant to be a Green Lantern scene. I've already done separate videos about that too. Like he was going to have a version of Jon Stewart Green Lantern show up with Kilowog to talk to Batman. He posted all this footage of it. This is him talking about his Green Lantern scene here. But even though they won't be talking a lot about the ending of the Snyder Cut during the Flash movie, for instance, or even during Shazam 2, there will still be a lot of Justice League references during the upcoming DC movies. Like Billy making meta jokes about the Snyder Cut, I'm sure other upcoming movies featuring the same actors from the Justice League will at least have casual references to the previous version of the team. And also when they do eventually do another Justice League film, for whichever actors are still around for that. The way that Zachary Levi talks about it, the idea is that Shazam, or at least Billy, will join a future version of the Justice League once they are ready to make another film, but no idea when that would happen. Probably not at least for 3 or 4 years, bare minimum. Maybe even more than that. But you also have the idea that in the Black Adam teaser trailer they released at DC Fandom, I did a whole big video about that, so I'll put a link in the description. But during that, The Rock was actually teasing Black Adam versus the Justice League. Like, he basically called them all out and put them on notice, and was talking a lot about crossing over with Henry Cavill's Superman. So in terms of other Justice League characters showing up in Shazam 2, earlier last year there was talk of a Henry Cavill Superman cameo scene because they had tried to do it for the first film, like we all saw it, that was his suit, it was meant to be him at the end of the movie. But even though Warner Brothers is now basically doing that multiverse Elseworlds version of the Superman movie with a different version of the character, that doesn't completely mean that Henry Cavill is out as Superman. I think he would always come back, but a lot of it I think just depends on directors coming along that want to use his version of Superman. For the most part, the way Warner Brothers has talked about it, they give the directors free reign to do whatever they want to with the characters now. So if a director comes along and wants his version of the character, like if The Rock wants to do a Superman crossover movie with Henry Cavill's Superman, then they can make that happen if the schedule works out and if Henry Cavill says yes to it. But in terms of Black Adam crossover, the way Zachary Levi talked about it, their loose plan right now is to do the Black Adam origin movie. We'll see that. That's coming out next summer. Then separately, they're doing Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, and that will not feature a lot of Black Adam. They won't cross them over till whatever the next movie winds up being, like Shazam 3 or Shazam versus Black Adam, whatever they decide to call that film. But maybe some kind of post-credit scene. And also just in terms of stuff that carries over from earlier post-credit scenes and crossovers, Mark Strong said that Dr. Sivana and Mr. Mind aren't really big characters during Shazam 2. Now, they will probably be referenced at some point during the film, maybe like a post-credit scene, but he said for the most part, he is not going to be a big character during this sequel. I think because they're leaving him for the big Black Adam crossover movie to be one of the larger villains with Mr. Mind. Like, Mr. Mind will wind up being a bigger villain than Black Adam does, because the way they're pitching the Black Adam character in the DC universe, he's more of an anti-hero, so in order to make him feel like an anti-hero, you need somebody who's even worse, and in the comics, that does wind up being Mr. Mind. The actual villains of Shazam 2 are going to be the daughters of the Greek titan Atlas. So it's all based on the powers of the Shazam League. So the Shazam name is actually an acronym. It's the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. So the 3 new characters that they've announced are Helen Mirren as Hespera, one of the daughters of Atlas, Calypso, played by Lucy Liu, who's one of the other daughters of Atlas, this Titan. And then there's a third character being played by Rachel Zegler, who people think might wind up being one of the other daughters. There was an earlier rumor that they'd be playing the three Greek fates mythologically, but if you're not big on Greek mythology, the characters that they're based on have slightly different backstories. Like the three fates are a different group of characters than the daughters of the Titan Atlas. But the whole idea is the Titan Atlas is the Titan that gives them their stamina, like stamina of Atlas. So the title, Shazam Fury of the Gods, is a reference to them facing the fury of the gods that give them their power. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on Greek mythology here because they're obviously going to simplify a lot of this. They won't be doing everything from these characters' mythologies and histories, but the whole idea is that these daughters are basically nymphs from Greek mythology. Helen Mirren's name Hespera is based on the Hesperides, which is a mythological group of nymphs that basically tend to Hera's orchard in the west where these really special golden apples grow. They contain a lot of power and they figure into this much bigger story of the 12 labors of Hercules. They adapted some of this for the video game series God of War. Hera, being very jealous of Hercules, drives him mad, and in his madness he winds up killing his human sons, and in order to atone for his actions, the Oracle of Delphi tells him to go serve his cousin who's a king in a neighboring country and just perform whatever tasks that he gives him. And his cousin, the king, gives him these 10 labors to perform. The reason why the tale is called the 12 labors of Hercules is because twice he actually gets help, or it doesn't quite work the way the king wants it to work, so he makes him do 2 extra labors, so it becomes the 12 labors of Hercules. The 11th labor is the one where he has to go steal the golden apples from the Hesperides. And in order to do that, he winds up tricking the Titan Atlas to steal the golden apples from his daughters for him. So I wouldn't be surprised if during Shazam 2, part of the movie is inspired by the 12 labors of Hercules, like Shazam Billy and the Shazamly have to perform some of the labors of Hercules. What'll probably happen though is because they're a little further along in the filming of the Black Adam movie is that we'll get the first big trailer for Black Adam later this year. Of course, I'll be doing videos for that movie as well. They're introducing a version of the Justice Society. Like I said, I've already done a couple videos for the teaser trailers they've released, so I'll post links for those down in the description. But if you have any big questions about what's going on with the Shazam movie, Shazam 2, the Black Adam movie, the sequels, let me know in the comments below. I will do a separate video about that Michael Keaton Batman teaser that they released for the Flash movie. That should post sometime tomorrow. But next week, the Loki series is starting. I'll be doing videos for all the episodes, so make sure you have alerts enabled so you don't miss any of that. But while you wait for everything, everyone click here for that brand new Thor 4 Love and Thunder first look teaser. And click here for my brand new Eternals trailer video about Kit Harington's Black Knight character and his future in the Avengers movies. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys tonight.